Welcome to the SportsBros podcast with your host, the head of creative, Eddie Cool. Also, the almighty B-Live and the money man, Scottie D. And now, without any further ado, here they are, the SportsBros. What's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddie Cool, a.k.a. the HOC, the head of creative up in this thing. And guess what? You're tuned into another edition of the Sports Bros podcast. This is episode number 29. Almost said 39, but we'll get there when the time comes for it. But right now, it's episode 29 of the Sports Bros podcast. Of course, you should know after 20 plus episodes, I'm not by myself. I'm never alone. I got my bros with me. Introducing first, the almighty B-Live.
What's going on? What's happening in the world today? This be your boy, the almighty B-Live. And you know what? This has been quite the weekend for me. Quick shout out to my coworkers, peeps at work that have had to deal with me this weekend. It was a nail biter for my beloved Clemson Tigers, but we pulled it off. Quick shout out to Return of the Mac and the 2-point conversion that went wrong. You know what? I'm getting way ahead of myself. You know what? I'm doing okay. There's another part of the Sports Bros podcast that you check on your friends, because some of your friends are not okay right now. Eddie Cool, go ahead and talk to that other guy right there. Go ahead and talk to him.
And as always, the salt of the earth himself, the money man, Scottie D.
Hi, guys.
Oh, boy.
Come on.
Hello, guys.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm happy to be with you today.
So wow. So we don't get no I'm right, you're wrong.
I'm surprised that you guys are even in the mood to do this week. I mean, the Cowboys lost, and the world's a darker place today. It's just the way it goes, but that's all right. We'll be back next week. We'll be back.
It's not dark for me at all. No, this is lovely, because I remember a few episodes back where 16-0, we going to the Super Bowl.
I don't remember ever saying that.
Lies.
So let's move on to another topic.
Episode 23. Oh. Wait,
Let's talk about some other stuff. Okay.
My memory seems to leave me. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been paying attention to the world of sports, we are beginning to leave the month of September and enter the month of October. And that can only mean one thing: post-season baseball. We reached a point where all 11,000 games are played in the MLB regular season, and we've come down to the playoffs. Playoffs. Okay, on an early episode of the Sports Bros podcast, we all gave our predictions about who was going to meet in the World Series. So let's go ahead and revisit those right fast. All right, B-Live, you said you picked the Astros and the Braves, correct?
Yes, I did, and my prediction's looking very well. Chop on, baby, chop on.
Yep, and they face the St. Louis Cardinals in the NLDS. Scottie D, who'd you have?
I picked the Astros to win it all, and I had them going against the Brew Crew. And the Brewers are hot as of late. They snuck in and got the wild card. They'll be facing the Nationals. I believe it's in Washington. So they got their work cut out for them to get into the playoff series, because they're in the one game shootout here. So I still, as much as I love the New York Yankees, I think the Astros have the best team in baseball. I think they have all year, and I think I would actually be really surprised if they don't win the World Series this year, based mainly on pitching, because pitching this time of year is the most important element of baseball. I mean, you can have a stacked lineup, but if you go against a hot pitcher, man, it's hard to beat. So
Yeah, you're right about that. You can't forget about that. And let's see, the matchups goes as follows. Let's see, in the American League, we got Tampa Bay and the Oakland A's slugging out for the wild card, and the winner of that game goes on to play the Houston Astros.
Yeah,
Yikes.
and here's the thing about Oakland. I was talking about them on our last episode. I think they're a dangerous team, but they have these guys that sit out there and play drums the entire game. And
oh boy,
I wish every Oakland game was on the road because I can't take it. I can't take these cats beating these drums. Right now, I'm very irritable. In case you didn't notice, if I have to listen to these guys beat drums for their whole postseason, I might have to root against the A's just to get the drummers out of the postseason.
Jesus.
Pay attention. You'll know when you see you'll think of me because these cats don't quit. They don't let up on the drums. And they've been doing it for years. I'm already sick of it.
oh boy, hot already.
I'm irritable. Today.
It's okay. I mean, so let me make sure this is correct. So the winner of the Oakland A's and Tampa Bay would play. They will face Houston.
Yep.
And then, so
Yankees Twins.
either way, like Oakland A's won't face the Yankees until the ALCS.
That's correct.
So I'm just because I like to irk the money man Scottie D, I'm rooting for the A's. I need the A's versus the Yankees in the ALCS, and I'm going to buy a drum of my own just because.
No, you know what? You'll get tired of it too. Trust me.
I don't know about that. I mean, there's certain things I do get tired of. We mentioned it last week. I can't stand Florida State, and I will stick to that. But you know what? Something that brings pure enjoyment to me is the little rivalries that me and you have, Scottie D, and this whole "who is we" movement. I mean, you trying to join my team or whatever. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, but as you know how I say, I digress.
Our Clemson Tigers pulled out a close one this week. We got through it.
Again,
We'll get to that later. The "who is we" movement, the best movement in all of sports. Hashtag "who is we."
somehow we became French. I don't know. We monsieur. But hey, speaking of the French Quarter, that I guess somebody's team didn't survive going down Bourbon Street. Geaux, Geaux. I can't even say that right because I can't stand the Saints. It was a terrible situation. You know what? Amtrak, let's get you Eddie Cool. Go ahead, you know what to do.
All right, grab them Amtrak. Shout out to Amtrak. Cut the check. My prediction for the World Series, I'm gonna have to go with these here: Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros. Ugh. A number 1 seed versus number 2 seed, and those Astros look tough, man. They look tough, man. But what you cannot do is count the doggone Braves out. And as I stated before earlier, as far as wild card goes, the winner of the Washington Nationals, Milwaukee Brewers wild card will go on to face the LA Dodgers.
That's a daunting task. The Dodgers are good.
Yeah, let's just hope they come through like they should.
Well, the Braves already showed that they handled the Dodgers during the regular season. So I mean, does that translate into the postseason? And we all know that Clayton Kershaw goes to sleep in October. So,
yep, different guy in the postseason.
So we shall see. And then Acuna, I believe he's resting. I don't even think he's really actually hurt. Let's let him rest a little bit. He'll be good to go. That guy is amazing. So,
yeah. He is. All right, and that's it for the postseason preview of Major League Baseball. En route to the World Series, a.k.a. the Fall Classic. Moving right along to NFL Week 4 news, notes, scores, everything of that nature. And it goes as follows. The Thursday night game between the Eagles and the Packers, guess what? The Eagles take one. They didn't sneak one. They take one away from the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau on Thursday night, 34-27. The Titans, speaking of taking what they want, the Titans, they defeated the Falcons in Atlanta 24-10. I think the bottom is just falling all the way out of Atlanta. I'm convinced. I'm convinced. Another game, the Patriots and the Bills, 16-10. We're gonna talk about that a little bit, man, because we thought that the Patriots had this number one defense and the high-powered offense, but you can't count out Sean McDermott's and the Buffalo Bills defense, and there was a whole lot going on. So Scottie D, were you able to see the game?
I saw a little bit of it. Yeah, I guess the biggest takeaway from that game is, well, the two biggest takeaways are that Buffalo's defense is for real. The offense still probably is a little behind, in catching up to make them a serious contender. And the other takeaway is the Bills are still the Bills, and they're still not going to beat the Patriots. There's still a long way to go to catch up with them. And, I think I even texted you guys towards the end of the game whenever Barkley was in there. I didn't even see what happened to Josh Allen. I know he got knocked out at some point, but am I right? Didn't he get hurt? It was an injury that took him out of the game.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Yeah, so Barkley's in the game, and I just knew there was no question in my mind the Bills were not going to win. I just knew, even though they had a chance. The Bills are still the Bills, but the arrow is pointing in the right direction for them. Actually, I remember saying that not too long ago when we were doing our previews. So, if you would ask a Buffalo fan, would you like to be 3-1 after 4 weeks? I'd take it. So, quarter way into the season, they're 3-1. So they're on the rise, I guess.
Hell yeah, they're gonna take it because I'm looking at the stats now. Time of possession. They won a time of possession. They had. If looking at it on paper, you would say that they dominate. They, from a number standpoint, is lopsided. It's not even close. I mean, you have 23 first downs to 11, 375 yards of total offense versus 224, 240 passing yards versus 150, 135 rushing yards versus 74. The only thing they were tied in is penalties at 8 apiece. Let's see. Total plays, they ran 71 versus 62. And yards per play, 5.3 versus 3.6. This game was a whole lot closer than what, a lot of us probably thought it would be. B-Lock, what you think about this here Patriots and Bills game? It's going to be good. Watch this.
Well, I just want to update on what happened with Josh Allen because the Bills were down by 6. Josh Allen was in the game in the fourth quarter, but Josh Allen scrambled and was tackled by Patriots defensive back Jonathan Jones, and it was a helmet-to-helmet hit that knocked him out of the game. He is in concussion protocol, and Sean McDermott is not happy.
Not at all.
He is not happy. So that's what brought Barkley into the game. And the rest is what it is. Unfortunately, certain plays in the game, people do get hurt, but Sean McDermott said that it was just, I guess more than anything, because I didn't see the play per se, but Sean McDermott was like, there's no place for that type of hit in the game. And so that was a direct effect on the game. Then I saw the last drive where Barkley was trying to get the ball up the field, and that stingy Patriots defense comes through. So it's one of those things where the Bills will get a second chance at the Patriots, and I think the way I've seen the Bills play, I would not be surprised if they were a 9-7, maybe possibly a 10-16. I would not be surprised seeing them as a wild card team this year.
I'm not surprised either because I'm like, okay, they done ripped off 3 straight wins. 1, 2, 3 straight wins. They were undefeated before they came, play against the Patriots. And like you said, it does make you want. Look, man, Brady went 18 for 39 for 150 yards and 1 interception. A big old goose egg in the touchdown column with a QBR of 47.3%. They've held Brady and they held him in check this game. They really did. I think Buffalo's a classic case of the defense is good, but it's not good enough to cover the ineptness of the offense. But
But they're getting there.
They are Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo is say what you may, man. Those guys up there in the Niagara Falls metropolitan area, the Bills, they may be a team to watch out of the AFC, man. If somebody mess around and slip on a banana peel and hit a schneid and start, going south, and Buffalo starts trending upwards, man, look out.
I want to say this real quick because speaking of banana peels, do not download Mario Kart Mobile because it will consume your life.
Oh man,
I love it. I'm sorry, and I've been hitting people with banana peels left and right. This is the biggest part of I Digress ever. But I'm sorry. I love the game. Anyway.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me later what the hell that even meant. I have no idea what you were just talking about.
You've never played Mario Kart?
Is Mario the guy from Donkey Kong?
Yeah.
Okay, I played Donkey Kong. There you go.
What just happened?
Explain it to me later.
Scott, I know you're old, but you're telling me you know what? Eddie Cool, just drive the train.
Don't play video games, man.
Drive the train. Eddie Cool, drive the train.
Hashtag Wahapa nominee. All right. Moving right along. We got the Browns. The Browns go to Baltimore. There was a whole lot of taking going on this weekend. No one asked. They just took it. Didn't say apologize. Thank you, please, and nothing. They took what they want, and we want the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
Beep.
Oh, my bad. Who, boy, my bad. I got excited there for a second. The Browns, they get an important win against the Ravens, 40-25 in Baltimore. And guess what? Sole possession of first place goes to the Cleveland Browns. Yep, the Cleveland Browns that we picked to go to the playoffs. And from the looks of it, they're going to be on track to do so. The Carolina Panthers, they win 2-0 under quarterback Kyle Allen as they go to Houston and defeat the Texans 16-10. B-Live, we talked earlier as far as that. We're going to talk about that real quick. There may be a whole quarterback controversy in Charlotte.
Well, let me just say this real quick. It's not necessarily a controversy. It's more or less the fans. Let me talk to my fellow Carolina Panthers fans. I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of y'all something terrible. Because you know what? I don't care who we got behind center as long as we're winning games. Cam Newton, I want you to get healthy. Some of y'all just quickly forgot about this dude that took us 15-1 a few years ago, MVP dabbing on him. I'm going to say this again. We would not be a $2.4 billion franchise if it wasn't for Cam Newton. So I'm going to say that. So Cam, get well. I'm going to say this also. I like the way that our offense looks with Kyle Allen right now and with Norv Turner calling the shots. Now, granted, Kyle Allen had a case of the whoopsies and the Butterfingers couldn't hold on to the ball, but we won. I don't want to hear people saying that, oh, Cam's got to go. No, I don't want to hear that at all. I want the better quarterback to be on the field that wins games. I want both of them. We've done it well with Cam Newton got hurt before, and Derek Anderson came in and did his thing. Did I want Derek Anderson to be our permanent starter? Not necessarily, but I just want to win games. And again, we won the game. We won the game. That's what we came.
Who's we?
Oh, I don't want to hear that from you because you is all kinds of Dallas Cowboys, and you be talking to wees and all this kind of stuff too. We Mansoor, who that say that they're gonna beat them? Oh my bad.
Who that say that? What that? What?
But
laugh it up. You just lost another game in the division, though.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. I'm all right because you know what? At the end of the day, the Panthers can only control the Panthers. Like, hey. We go out there, we win the games, we will be all right. I like the way my Panthers are trending. Houston is a very good team. and to hold down Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins and limit them as much as they did. And I think the Panthers had 6 sacks against Houston. And one thing, it hurt a little bit to see Deshaun Watson get knocked around, because y'all know how much I love Deshaun Watson. All roads lead to Dabo.
10 minutes in.
Oh yeah. And DeAndre Hopkins, that the Clemson connection. But when it comes to the pros, keep pounding, baby. And the Panthers got a W behind Kyle Allen and that my beloved defense. Mario Addison is doing his thing.
Yep.
He is doing his thing. Keep at it, bro. Keep pounding. Let's get it.
Yep. They held DeAndre Hopkins to 5 receptions, 41 yards. Longest catch, 14 yards. So man, the Carolina, hey man, hashtag keep pounding. And if you're in the Carolinas, come Monday morning, go get your donuts from Krispy Kreme. Cut the check, Krispy Kreme. Moving right along. Speaking of, like I said, we're in the trend of visiting teams, coming to other people's houses, kicking down their doors, harassing wives, eating the refrigerator, not telling them sorry, thank you, please, not having any manners, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One more time. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the LA Rams 55-40. Scottie D, in the words of our esteemed colleague B Live, what happened?
Man, threw a double nickel on the board on him, man. That defense of Tampa, they look pretty stout for a lot of the day. They were, I mean, I know they gave up a lot of points. I think Goff had 500 yards passing, but they still forced him into 3 turnovers. But for them to put 55 on the board, that was on their turf.
Yeah, that
was insane to me. I can't seem to figure out Tampa Bay. It's like they're a different team every other week. But I'm going to write this one off as a bad day for the Rams. That's the way I'm going to look at this, because I truly believe they're the better team and had an off day, and they'll right the ship. They better figure out what's going on with that defense if you're giving up, that much. You're leaking that much oil. But I think this is just going to be a blip on the radar for the Rams, and they'll get back to it, honestly.
Yep. Jared Goff had 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a QBR rating of 88, and 517 yards passing.
That's a lot.
Todd Gurley, oh, how the mighty have fallen. He gets 16 yards on 5 carries.
Ooh.
And Malcolm Brown, he gets 14 yards on 5 carries. But Todd Gurley did get 2 touchdowns out the whole ordeal. And like I said, oh, how the mighty have fallen. I'm telling you, man, it's nuts how they just went in there. It's like, you know what? We take what we own, and we go to gold, sucker. So I'm thinking I think this might be a reoccurring thing for the Rams. We might get that one game out of the year where the defense just phones it in.
The thing with Gurley today, you've been kind of questioning how healthy he is and if he's hurt. But today they fell behind 21-0 early, so they had to put the ball up. So the running game was kind of taken out early. So I saw one of Gurley's touchdown runs. He still looked like a beast. He was mowing guys over to get into the end zone.
Mm.
But how about Dominican Sue putting the game away, rumbling, stumbling into the end zone to ice that one? I mean, all of a sudden, that Tampa Bay D looks kind of legit, don't they?
They do. And speaking of looking legit, Chris Godwin. I'm gonna tell everybody right now. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is a division rival, and B Live can understand my sentiment as far as like giving division rivals props and credit. It eats at us, but you know what? Game recognize game, and game respect game. Chris Godwin, he the real deal. Chris Godwin is the real deal. 12 receptions, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
And then you got this guy named Mike Evans there, but it's Chris Godwin. Like it's like, yes, that Chris Godwin. Yeah.
So let me opine on that. Like that's the one thing that what we're not taking away from that game is that everybody basically wrote off the Buccaneers because it's the Rams. They're the NFC defending champs. They like favorites to win again, et cetera, et cetera. And we just sort of wrote off Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna try my best. Tampa Bay has had those dynamic players. It's just a matter of just bringing it together. And this game was one of those games where you're looking like, because Tampa Bay on paper, they're freaking, they got a squad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of like putting it together. And it's usually been behind the play of their quarterback, famous Jameis Winston, at crab leg stealing some. Oh, my bad.
Hey, wait a minute.
All right. But yeah, like literally, like Jameis Winston, if he gets his head right and does things, he's actually a very talented quarterback. And to have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and I mean, Cameron Brate as a tight end, like, dude, that's a squad.
And OJ Howard.
Yeah, man, that's a squad.
And don't forget that 1-2 punch of Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber if they decide to get it together. Ronald Jones had 70 yards and Peyton Barber had 19. So they both found the end zone.
It's not necessarily a surprise. And one thing I do like is the fact that the two losses that the Panthers have had this year have come against the St. Louis Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And both of them look good.
The St. Louis Rams?
The Los Angeles Rams. I doggone it. I still ain't quite got it all together. There's like 15 teams. There's 15 teams in Southwest California right now. What is it? You got the LA Chargers, you got the LA Rams, you got the Oakland Raiders, which are going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. This is like
you got the Oakland A's.
Well, that's baseball. We're not
that's right.
Yeah, we get beating on your eardrum anyway.
Boom, 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 boom. Shut up.
Shoot. But yeah, you know what I meant.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I meant. Again, we're not professionals. That's what makes us better than the professionals, because we're just three guys that do this for the fan, by the fan, SportsBros podcast.
Just three guys rooting for the St. Louis Rams. That's all.
Shut up.
Hey, I'm telling you guys a quick story. So my girlfriend, she tells works and everything, and she brought up the St. Louis Rams, and they are still sensitive about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
they are still sensitive.
They ripped their heart out when they moved that team.
Yep. I think another sensitive city is is Seattle. In Seattle, when they had the Seattle, when the Supersonics left, I remember I watched one episode of Monday Night Raw, and Elias and Kevin Owens were in the middle of cutting the promo. When I say the Boo Birds were at an all-time high, I've heard a lot of Boo Birds in my 20-plus years of watching wrestling. But these Boo Birds in Seattle, whoo-wee.
Yeah, it's sensitive when you lose your team and you lose your franchise, for sure.
I got a quick question. We are completely off topic right now, but I think this is warranted. Who moves from Seattle to Oklahoma City?
That's a good question. That's
I've never really thought about it until you just mentioned that. Who really moves from Seattle to Oklahoma City? This really, again, Eddie Cool, Amtrak, get us back on board, because we could talk about this for days. And then,
but I'm opining it right quick. I'm like, what is like Seattle, the home of Starbucks and Microsoft and Bill Gates and the Mariners and the 12th man and everything. And they're about to get a hockey team, but then the basketball team moves to go to Oklahoma City. Why? I don't like you go from the rain to the heat, okay? From showers to possible tornadoes. Huh?
Because Oklahoma City, all they have is that basketball team. And then they have their college football team, but that's
and that's it. And that's it. Moving right along. Football. It's really easy to get on topic. Danny Dimes. That's right, Daniel Dimes. Damn, Daniel hitting him again with another W.
I like it.
Yep, Danny Dimes. Damn, Daniel, he does it again. He is now 2-0 as a starter for the New York Giants as they defeat the Redskins 24-3. So it has went from the Eli and Saquon show to the Wayne Gallman and Danny Dimes show. Moving right along, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You're just gonna move past Wayne Gallman. Just gonna move past.
He went to Clemson. All right, you happy now? You happy? Wayne Gallman was very serviceable. We didn't start him on a football team, but we'll be all right. We good. We good. Moving right along, the Jacksonville Jaguars with Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite at quarterback. They squeak one out in Mile High against the Denver Broncos 26-24, and then went on a Josh Lambo field goal with time expiring in the fourth quarter. The Jaguars are 2-2 with Gardner Minshew at the helm. And the main event, Sunday Night Football, New Orleans Saints against the Dallas Cowboys. And the New Orleans Saints, they won out against the Cowboys too. All right, so Scottie D, do you want to lightly opine on it, or do you just want to go all passive? Because we know how you are about your Cowboys.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, no.
Come on, little buddy. You can talk about it. Come on.
Okay, here's the thing. When Drew Brees went down, I think everyone was thinking the Saints, their season was teetering. They were probably going to have to try to win maybe 2 or 3 games without him till he got back. But they have now gone into Seattle and won very impressively.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a grinder game against the Cowboys. And the Cowboys were undefeated, 3-0, and they won that one. So the Saints are doing more than just managing without Drew Brees. They're thriving without him till he gets back. So that defense of the Saints looked really good on Sunday night. You know, as a Cowboy fan, I was pleased with the fact that they held them off the board. You know, they only scored 12 points. So I was happy with the defense. But the Cowboys' offense has looked electric in the first few weeks. And the Saints' defense is for real, man. They're good. That's a tough place to play. I mean, you know, I hate the Cowboys didn't go down there and come out there with a victory. But, you know, it's tough to play in New Orleans. And those guys, that defense is stout, man. That defense is good enough to – I don't know why I picked the Falcons to win that division. They look terrible at this point. The Saints really look good. And losing their leader in the way they've responded, kudos to them. It hurts today, but kudos to the Saints for that win.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, boy, here we go. Saints no Drew Brees, and then we got the combination of Taysom Hill and Teddy Bridgewater. I'm like, oh boy, we're gonna see how this turns out. But like you said, they went to Seattle last week and got a win in Seattle, another tough place to play. And then they went back home and played one of the top teams in the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys. I'm like, hey, well, it ain't over. It is not over for the Saints. B-Live, you got anything to say about this game here?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh boy, here we go.
I would like to first start off by saying that, Scottie D, I am very proud of you. Very proud of you. Because that was a well thought out analysis of the Saints, their defense, and the game as a whole, because we know how much emotionally invested you are into that game. Because
thanks. That means so much to me.
I just want to make sure that you understand that, because your entire reputation was on the line with your 16-0 pick at the beginning of the season. No matter how satirical or real it was, I'm going to say it because that's what I do, is because I'm the antagonist in this little lovely little thing that we got going on. It was refreshing to see this game. It lets us know where both teams stand. I think the Cowboys rebound. I think, honestly, my 9-7, I'm still sticking with that just because it's Jason Garrett. I'm sticking with that just because. But, I mean, at the end of the day, like, Kellen Moore, play calling, not so much. But I want to say thank you to the Cowboys defense, because I have Will Lutz on 2 of my fantasy teams, and I think Will Lutz won those 2 games for me with those 4 field goals. Thank you, Cowboys defense, from keeping the Saints out of the end zone and relying on Will Lutz. Thank you so very much.
Let's just say this, and although it is super early to say this, we're a quarter of the way through the season, 4 games in. But after seeing what the Saints did to the Seahawks last week and to the Cowboys this week, don't you got to kind of catapult them to the top of the favorite board to get to the Super Bowl from the NFC? I mean, I know it's really early to say that, but, I picked the Rams, and they haven't looked great even in the games they won. The Packers are 3-1, and they haven't looked super awesome. And the Cowboys are leading their division and just got beat by the Saints. So, the Saints, and this is without Drew Brees in 2 of their 4 games, they look awfully strong, man. Defensively, they look really good. And Kamara is unstoppable, and Michael Thomas, and they held Zeke to under 50 yards, I believe, rushing. I mean, that's a pretty impressive performance that the Saints put on overall, considering they didn't have their Hall of Fame quarterback.
Well, it's one of those things you really can't catapult somebody if you already had them there, because if you recall my predictions, I put the Saints and the Rams in the NFC Championship, and I also said that the Saints have a massive chip on their shoulder because of the past 2 years and penalties.
And you also said the Cowboys are going to be 14-2, and 2 days later you had
I said,
9-7. So.
Okay. To remind you, I said
forgive me if I don't write down and keep track of everything that you predict.
I
Forgive
said
me.
13-3. And then I changed it to 9-7 because of the whole Ezekiel Elliott situation, which I granted to say that I think that Jerry Jones did handle that situation best. And sometimes we can't necessarily believe the media pundits out there. By the way, we're not one of those media pundits. We're just 3 guys that just talk trash about sports, and we love it.
That's all we do.
So sometimes our facts might be a little skewed because we get our facts from some of the media pundits. I would love to have sources on the inside, but the way my bank account is set up, so we're gonna get the information as it comes to us. I'm gonna talk about it as best as we possibly can. I said 13-3, and then I went to 9-7. That's what I said, and that's why I'm sticking to 9-7. Okay. And I don't care what you have to say. Yeah, I'm allowed to change my mind because, once again, I'm not a professional. Come at me.
Okay. Well, I just did.
Oh boy,
but
here we go.
I digress. Moving along, Eddie Cool.
Oh boy, he got you. He got you. All right, moving right along. Yep, and that is it for NFL Week 4 news and notes. We got Antonio Brown filing a historic lawsuit. That's neither here nor there.
Why would you even mention that, dude? We made it all the way through the NFL without mentioning him. Why?
You see how quickly I breeze over it? Because I'm going.
We don't need to breeze over it. Screw him. He's an idiot.
Yeah, he doesn't play in the NFL.
Yeah, he went back to Central Michigan.
Thank you, Eric Weddle, for calling them out. Like, yeah, we don't have to worry about you. You don't play. Anyway, that Twitter little beef is funny, by the way. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, Eric Weddle would clean his clock. I swear he would. But it's so convenient. He finds the picture. Let me find a picture of me giving him a stiff arm. Yeah, okay, dude, whatever. Full of it. Anyways, moving right along to the college football week that was. And it goes as follows. They said Ohio State versus Nebraska was going to be Ohio State's first test.
Passed that test.
They passed it with flying colors. Nebraska, get out of here. Go home. Let's see. Bama, they bust up Ole Miss. Anybody surprised?
No.
Washington State falls to Utah. They get back in their winning ways. South Carolina defeats the Kentucky Wildcats. And, of course, Clemson. Hashtag all Rosie to Dabo. Hashtag who is we survives versus the North Carolina State Tar Heels. I'm just going to be live on this one. Hashtag what happened?
Well, North Carolina is exactly who I thought they were. I knew this was going to be a tough game in Chapel Hill at Kenan Stadium. And they packed it out for once. They don't usually pack out King Stadium. You can thank the Clemson Tigers for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just their defense, the play calling from Mac Brown, and it was interesting to watch. And I'm like, I'm gonna need my team to do something, help, do better. But I knew it was going to be a hard fought game, and it's one of those things again that this has been actually a mainstay for Clemson for the past 5 years. There's always been that one team that gives them a fit, whether it be Pittsburgh for you. I'm sorry, hold on. Just give me a moment.
Did you get lightheaded there for a second? Like,
just
what
give
happened?
me a moment.
Okay.
All right. Is it Pittsburgh a few years back, Syracuse past couple of years, North Carolina this year? I mean, there's always been that team that shouldn't have been that gives Clemson fits. And it's one of those things, as Clemson, the way they've built their program, and especially being in the ACC and everything like that, you're going to catch teams that shouldn't be in games, and they're going to give you their absolute best. North Carolina literally had absolutely nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And they came in and put it all on the line, and I give North Carolina a moral victory. Granted, it's not a victory on the sheets. And the voters also showed where they were a little about it, because the AP poll was just released yesterday, because I don't even know. We publish on Tuesday. We're recording Sunday night, Monday morning. So y'all get it. The AP poll came out, and we have a new number one team in the nation. Uncle Max, you're hearing it from me. I said it. The Alabama Crimson Tide are the new number one team in the country. I called it.
And the only thing they did was thump Ole Miss.
So, I mean, I get it. Clemson did not put out the best performance, and it left a lot of doubts in the voters' minds. I could care less about week 5 polls, because at the end of the day, Clemson, do your job, do better, win the ACC, and we're back in the playoff again. Enough said.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a big fan of winning a game and losing your ranking. I mean, that's a little kind of lame to me. When you're a number one team, when you're Clemson, or when you're Alabama, Oklahoma, when you're one of these top teams and you show up to a visiting stadium, it's their championship. Everybody is up for you. So you're going to have days where you're going to be challenged. I mean, it happens, and they got out of there with a win. So the fact that they won it on a bad day, they didn't. I don't think Trevor Lawrence looked super sharp that day, and the team, they just had a hard time moving the ball. They found a way to win, and I think that's the bottom line. And I don't fault a team for having a bad day once in a while like that, because it happens to the best of them. Every year in college, you have a team that either has one loss or has just wriggled off the hook at the end of the season. And, you're going to have bumps in the road. Not every game is going to be perfect. I think I have to question a little bit. What did you think about the decision by Mac Brown to go for the win, though? I generally like the thought of being aggressive and trying to win. But at home like that, the fact that his team played good defense all day, I think I would have liked to seen them take their chances in overtime. Although how much time was there? A minute and some change left, right? Whenever they scored that last touchdown, am I right?
Yeah,
a minute and some change. So if they go for 2 and they get it, and they're up a point, they have to stop Clemson from kicking a field goal to win. If they tie the game, they still have to stop Clemson from kicking a field goal to win. So I would, at that point, just assume try to go into overtime at home. If you're on the road, absolutely go for 2. But I didn't like that decision a lot. And usually I'm okay with that. But in that situation, I wasn't super fond of that decision. What do you guys think of that?
Hey, I understand when you're at home and you want to put the game away in dramatic fashion. I think sometimes, you got to be smart. Like, hey, man, let's see if we can take this thing in overtime. And let's see if we can really get something out of it. And then again, if, as a coach, if you see the opportunity, hey, this opportunity for us to go ahead and win the game, let's go ahead and, take that shot, and you trust your team, like Mac Brown does, then yeah, you're going to take that shot. But if it was me, I'm like, you know what, maybe we should take this thing to overtime and see where it goes from there. It makes good for compelling television. That's what I think.
This is what I think. Momentum riding. North Carolina literally has nothing to lose, everything to gain. You've got recruits coming in for here and there, and they fought a tough game, and it is an absolute moral victory for North Carolina. North Carolina was 27-point underdogs. They came out looking like rock stars. They're going to get the recruits. They won in every sense of the word except for the actual score. And you know what? I'm going to say it, and because I don't care. North Carolina, in their best interest, wanted Clemson to win because Clemson is by far the only chance for the ACC to put anybody into the playoff and get that paycheck for the entire conference. Just saying.
So you think they were okay with Clemson? They wanted Clemson to beat them. That's what you're telling me?
I mean, not necessarily, but
that's absolutely absurd.
Hey, I mean,
when you're on the field trying to win a game, you're not thinking about the conference. They didn't want Clemson to win. Are you out of your mind?
No, I'm not out of my mind. I am out of my mind, but I'm not out of my mind.
Fire me. I'm not fired. Fire me. I'm already fired. Fire me. I'm already fired.
I like to add a little spice to it. Really, of course you want to win the game. Here's again my take about it. North Carolina has nothing to lose. Freaking roll the dice and have at it. Yeah. And so it's one of those things. Do you want to give Clemson a chance to, give them a chance?
They were going to have to stop them either way from kicking a field goal to win the game. Either way, they're going to lose with the field goal. So kick the extra point and take your chances of getting into overtime.
But the thing about
their defense had done the job all day long. Clemson scored 3 touchdowns, one of which was on a big play, I believe.
But here's the thing. Here's my argument about that. I take my chances in regular time as opposed to going into overtime, because overtime you get the ball on the 25-yard line. You think you can stop Clemson on the 25-yard line? I don't know.
Well, maybe you both get a chance. You both get the ball. So I don't know.
That's my.
But I also didn't realize that North Carolina was also rooting for Clemson that day. So they went for 2. They probably didn't even want to get it. They wanted Clemson to win.
But hey, I'm just saying, just saying,
I didn't know Mac Brown was rooting for Clemson that day. It all makes a lot more sense to me.
Hey man, who is we, man? I told you, man, everybody getting on the.
We won. We got out of there 21-21. We won, and we also beat Kentucky Saturday night. That was another big win for us.
Well, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. No, you cannot. You cannot root for
our
both.
Gamecocks got out of there with a win.
You
on
hush
Saturday
your.
Night. We had
you
a good
hush
weekend.
your filthy mouth. Who is this we mess?
We had a good weekend.
You stick to your Pitt Panthers,
and we won too.
Pat Narduzzi and them.
Yep, we won.
All right,
good weekend for us.
Good weekend for everyone. Speaking of the college rankings, let's see. 1, 2, 3, and 4 goes like this: Alabama 1, Clemson 2, Georgia 3, the Ohio State at number 4, and top 5 LSU running up the top 5.
They put Ohio State above LSU. Are you kidding me right now?
Yep. They switched spots. Ohio State went up 1, LSU went down 1.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane. What football are they watching?
That's in the AP poll. Let's see where they're at the coaches poll.
That's insane to me. Are you kidding me? Has anybody watched an LSU game this year? Have you? LSU
They've been busting up everybody.
LSU has always had a scary good defense. But have you seen Joe Burrow throw this ball around this field? Like, if it wasn't for guys like Jalen Hurts and Tua, he would be in that Heisman talk right now. Joe Burrow is the truth this year. Like, and I give it up to what my boy name in Ohio State came from Georgia. What the dude name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. I can't even remember his name right now. It's late at night.
World's worst moment to have a brain fart. But keep talking. I'll find it for you.
God, I'm struggling here. But yeah, he's doing his thing, Ohio State. But again, who in the hell is Ohio State playing? Again, I'm not sold on.
Well, we beat Nebraska on Saturday night. That's who we beat.
Who is this we?
We had a great game against Nebraska.
Oh my goodness! But yeah, it is what it is. All right. Well, moving on. Because again, that's why I don't believe in week 5, week 6 polls. But they're trying to. The thing about it is they're trying to set a narrative. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Is because they don't want to have 3 SEC teams in the top 4, even though that's what the best teams are right now when it comes to Alabama, Georgia, LSU. The rest of the SEC, like I've already said before y'all get thinking I'm backtracking, the rest of the SEC is garbaggio.
Wow,
Trash.
Garbaggio.
So
rubbish.
But right now, I mean, I give a slight inkling to Auburn. But yeah, just come
on. Justin Fields is the quarterback.
That's that dude's name. The one that some people picked above Trevor Lawrence, which is crazy, asinine to me. But it's all right. He's doing his thing in Ohio State.
Yep, he is, man. He is balling out of control. And that wraps it up for this week's edition of College Football.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
And as always, thanks again to the wonderful Miss Button for introducing our favorite section of the show. Shane, you heard a woman, she telling the truth. The choices of the voices. We will admit, last week, we don't know what the hell happened. We thought the topic was good, but shout out to Uncle Max for coming through like he usually does. But from the looks of it, we got some old faces, some new faces, some usual suspects, and we have a loaded edition of the choices of the voices. All right, Scottie D, what was the question for this week's choices of the voices section?
The question was, who is the most dominant defensive player in the NFL that you've ever seen? And give us 3. We asked you to go ahead and do 3 of them for us. And a lot of similar answers, I thought.
Yep, there were a lot of similar answers. I mean, all are good. All the answers are good. You know, you can't be like, who? What? I mean, they all were good, and they were hard to argue against.
Yeah, and you know, I think our listeners and our responders here in this case pretty much echoed what the football world in general believes, and that is that the greatest defensive player to ever play in the NFL was Lawrence Taylor. It seemed like that was the theme for what we got from our responses. And when you guys agree that pretty much anytime that topic of conversation comes up, Lawrence Taylor's at the top of the list, don't you think?
Yes.
I will agree with that. I will agree with that assessment. He was pretty good. The guy was pretty good.
We're coming at you like a pack of crazy dogs. Yeah. he ain't lying about that. All right, so let's go ahead and get this party started. Rodney Bellamy, sorry about the Dolphins, buddy. He says, number 3, J.J. Watt. Number 2, Jason Taylor. And number 1, Deion Sanders.
I like those picks. Deion Sanders was dominant in a different way than like the linebackers that he picked, because those guys just own the field. Deion, as a cover guy, shut down half the field. So quarterbacks were only playing with half a field when he was in the game. So his dominance was a different style of dominance, but dominant nonetheless.
Yep, and you are so very right about that. Brian Randall, what's going on, Brian Randall? He says Lawrence Taylor, Ray Lewis, and Justin James Watt, a.k.a. J.J. Watt.
Well, 2 votes for J.J. there. All right.
And it's almost as scary to think if J.J. Watt stayed healthy,
ooh,
how much better, because And he's like 3-time defensive player of the year. Like, I mean, dude is ridiculous with it. I mean, he could. I can agree with J.J. Watt being in this top, and I do appreciate that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, J.J. Watt is just a monster, baby. He is just a whole monster. And he is a 3-time defensive player of the year. All three of them. Yeah, he's got a good pedigree too, man. I wouldn't be surprised if we have this conversation years down the road and we hear about his brother TJ as a dominant force on the field too. I mean, TJ was making noise his rookie year. All right, moving right along. We got Howie from the Chuck Town. He says LT, Deion Sanders, and Ray Lewis. But he also gives us an honorable mention list, which I think we should mention as well too. Dwight Freeney, Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, and Reggie White.
Some good names on that list. I don't think Dwight Freeney did it long enough. He was awesome for a few years, but I think he was injury plagued a little bit too. Ed Reed gets overlooked a lot, but yeah, Ed Reed was, man, he was nice back there, backing up Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis is hard to argue against.
The ball hawk, the ball hawk, Ed Reed, the Hall of Famer. Let's get it right. The Hall of Famer, Ed Reed. That's crazy, guys. Think about it. We were watching football at a period of time, and Ed Reed was dominant. Now he's a freaking Hall of Famer. Where have the years gone? Whoo-wee. All right, terrible. Pete Talansky, welcome back, fella. He also says LT, Ray Lewis, Deion Sanders. Hard to argue against those three as well, too.
Yeah.
Uncle Max, he says Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, and I like this one, Ronnie Lott.
Oh, Ronnie Lott was a hard hitter.
Oh man.
Yep.
Oh yeah. You felt him. He before he even hit you, you felt it. You like
yeah, absolutely. He was a field general too, and tough as nails. And have the famous story where he was going to miss a game because his finger was jacked up, and he just cut the finger off and played anyway.
They said, hell, just cut it off. I don't need it. He got a nub for a pinky. That's not tough. That's TUFF.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy tough.
Yeah, that's a different level of tough. That's like, oh, okay, tough. You playing through a shoulder injury. Let's cut the damn finger off. I don't need it. Okay.
And that is not to get confused with Jason Pierre-Paul. That's two entirely different things.
That is different, right?
Yeah, that's just a mishandling of fireworks. Come on, you should know better now. Come on, bro. You from Florida too. You should know better. You should know what time it is.
Dummy.
Yeah. Oh man. Where I'm at now?
Yeah.
That's my place. No, there we go. Okay, Martin Tracy. He says, I like this one. I like this. It's different from everybody else. Mel Blount, Andre Tippett, and Mark Gastineau. For our younger listeners out there, Mel Blount played for the Steelers. He was a safety. Yeah, he was a safety for the Steelers. Andre Tippett played for the Patriots. He's a linebacker. And Mark Gastineau played for the New York Jets.
Okay.
Yeah, all good picks. I don't think any of them are the most dominant that I have ever. Well, good picks. I'll just leave it at that. It's nice to hear some different names on there. Yeah.
I mean, we can always count on Matty Ice to. Think outside the box.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it as well. We appreciate that feedback, Matty Ice. That's good.
Matty Ice, baby. Don't ever change. Don't ever change. Trey Duke, he says, number 1, Deion Sanders, DeMarcus Ware, and Brian Dawkins.
Let's see. Well, if I remember correctly, Brian Dawkins, where did he? Let's see. No, I ain't gonna do it to you.
Oh, his ass went to Clemson too. Okay, gotcha. Because I'm over here like, why is he randomly talking about because he went to Clemson? Gotcha.
All roads lead to Dabo. But yeah, Trey Dizzle,
and DeMarcus Ware was a beast, man. For a while, they're coming off the side. He racked up a ton of sacks whenever the Cowboys really didn't have a great defense other than him. I mean, it's the Cowboys had some mediocre years in there when DeMarcus Ware was playing. He was the bright spot on that defense.
Yep.
Do you guys think Hall of Fame though?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's unanimous. That's unanimous. So he might not be on the hard drugs when he say that. So I mean, Dizzle, it's all good, baby.
Yeah, DeMarcus Ware, man, he was one of those. I remember that was the year they had him and Marcus Spears.
Yeah.
And Marcus Spears. Matter of fact, we rarely put over, television networks, but Marcus Spears is doing a wonderful job, a phenomenal job on ESPN.
He is good. I agree.
Yeah.
He's pretty good on there.
He is good when he because like a lot of times I'm around the house doing stuff and I got the TV on mute, but when he start talking, I got to hear the big guy got to say, man, Marcus Spears is good. He is good at what he does. All right, Damon Benko. Did I get it right, fellas? Damon Benko. All right, Damon Benko says, okay, another different one. And a first-time mention for these two, and a reoccurring thing for the third one, Cornell Lake, Junior Seau, and Ray Lewis.
I love the Junior Seau pick because he dominated for a lot of years. So
yeah,
he often gets overlooked in that conversation. Cornell Lake was a good defensive back for the Steelers. I think he was like 90s all-decade team, but come on, Damon. That's a homer call there, but he's a Pittsburgh guy. And you're picking Cornell Lake. I mean, he was good, but
Cornell Lake had to have one of the biggest heads I've ever seen.
He did have a big old light bulb head. Yeah.
I was like, damn, so you got a big ass head. But anyways, I guess we got a head that big and play that good. Scott Kalish, what's his line?
Yeah, so Junior Seau gave quarterbacks nightmares.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He always found his way around the ball. Like I see him as the comparison to Luke Kuechly. Like you found Junior Seau was always around the ball. That was one thing that I enjoyed watching him play. God rest and everything. I know what he was doing and everything. So that I do appreciate that mention. Absolutely.
Yeah, Junior Seau, man. Yeah, he's one of the greatest, man. One of them big old Samoan boys, man. Them big old Samoan man. Yeah, I tell anybody, I say, hey, you find me a small Samoan, I give you $100. It is yet to happen. Because I ain't gonna give you $100. Anyway,
right.
Scott Kalish, I like this one. Mean Joe Green, Rod Woodson, and Ed Reed.
Yeah, another Pittsburgh guy. Big surprise, but Mean Joe Green, he was. I can't honestly say I saw a ton of him because I was pretty young and growing up in Pittsburgh. But he was one of the anchors of that steel curtain defense. So hard to argue about dominant. And Rod Woodson, for a lot of years, was the guy in Pittsburgh defensively. So and a Hall of Famer as well. So I can't really argue too much with those choices.
Corey Turner says LT, Ronnie Lott, and the Minister of Defense himself, Reggie White.
Yeah, no, I thought we'd have more people voting for Reggie White because he gets a lot of credit for being one of the top defensive guys of all time.
Yeah, wasn't he one of the first ever big free agent acquisitions back in like the early 90s?
Yeah, when he went from Philly to Green Bay. He was the missing piece to them winning that championship, I think, when their Super Bowl with Brett Favre.
If I'm not mistaken, did he finish his career at Carolina?
He did. I want to say he retired maybe a year and then came back out of retirement to play for Carolina. Does that sound?
I think that's what happened.
He did play for the Panthers, though. You're right.
Yep.
Him and Kevin Green.
Yep. Yeah. Him and Kevin Green, which is a surprise I don't see on this list here. Let's see, who do I have next? Scotty LaCoura. He says Deion Sanders, LT, Lawrence Taylor, and Reggie White.
All right.
And Jonathan Edwards. Jonathan, long time no see, brother. Glad to have you back. He says Reggie, LT, and Ray Lewis. So we got, how many Reggies we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Honorable mention 5. J.J. Watt, 1, 2. On here several times. So yeah, that's the cream of the crop when it comes to the top 3 most dominant defensive players in the history of the world, Craig. In the history of the world. Now let's ask the Sports Bros. Scottie D, who you got?
Well, LT is like the universal answer, and Dion is like the universal best corner. So I'm just for the sake of adding a couple new names, I'm gonna go with 3 other guys. I am gonna say Ray Lewis because he went sideline to sideline as well as anyone, and he led his team to a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer as the quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and keep Ray Lewis on that list. I'm going to mention Darryl Green because he gave the Cowboys fits playing him twice a year when he was the cornerback for the Redskins, fastest guy in the NFL for several years, and anchored a really good defensive team for the Redskins during the 80s. And one nobody else seemed to mention, Mike Singletary. You know, when the Chicago Bears were winning their Super Bowl, man, he was the captain of that defense. You know, Richard Dent and the Fridge were the guys up front getting the sacks, but Singletary was the quarterback of that defense, and he was a bad dude, man. He was another guy that could cover sideline to sideline, and he was just your typical Chicago Bear in the trenches kind of guy, you know. So I just wanted to make sure Singletary and Darryl Green got mentioned because they got a little bit overlooked by our responders there, but LT is the greatest. I mean, I think that's pretty much a universal answer.
Yeah, man, you really can't. I mean, when it comes to LT, man, you really can't argue that. Be like, who you got?
Well, I'm definitely going to go with the masses with mine. LT, unanimous. For those that didn't put LT on their list, I know you were thinking outside the box. LT is unanimous.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie White manhandled people. Like,
yeah,
I was actually looking at a little bit of film earlier today, and like how he's with one arm throwing around 325, 350-pound men like they were nothing. I'm like, I lift. Like,
I think he called it like the club move or something, didn't he? Something like that. He would just
the club,
take his one arm and just kind of move a dude out from in front of him.
Yeah, literally. I remember. I think they showed it was a clip with him and Larry Allen. Larry freaking Allen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And Larry Allen is a big boy.
And a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I mean Reggie White, God rest his soul. And just to clarify, you are absolutely correct, Scottie D. He retired from the Green Bay Packers in '98, but he did come back 1 year with the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
And so
I thought it was something like that.
So that was it's like I still can't believe that Reggie White played in the Carolina uniform. And Kevin Green. That was freaking amazing. I also want to mention Troy Polamalu. I want to mention him. Like, yeah, do I think he's better than Ed Reed? Not necessarily, but I just love like it. Just hit like what he did. Like when it came to where he jumped over the line, like the timing that he had, the tenacity that he had was ridiculous. You had to account for Troy Polamalu wherever he was at on the field because there wasn't anything he couldn't do on the field. And you just saw hair and head and shoulders and all that all over the field. Like, good Lord, is there not a place this dude is not going to be at? So, I mean, I have to mention him. Like, he has, like, he was ridiculous with it. Do I think, like, they're both Hall of Famers, of course. But, I mean, like, I just his tenacity and just his basically all-around ability, I think, like, I definitely have to mention Troy Polamalu.
Troy Polamalu, his career stats are 770 tackles, 12 sacks, 32 interceptions, and 14 forced fumbles. And he was only 5'10" and 207 pounds. But you could not tell by the way he played.
Not even close.
Nope. you could not tell. He played like he was 6'2", 6'3", 245 pounds. He played, I think, if you look at it, I think Troy Polamalu played with a chip on his shoulder. Literally.
I think he needed a haircut. I didn't dig the hair.
Oh, come on.
I didn't like his hair. I'm sorry.
Shoot, that man making buku dollars off his hair right now.
Good for him. I don't like it.
Right?
Yep.
I'll make sure to let him and his agent know that Scott Donnelly, the money man, Scottie D from the SportsBros podcast, does not like your hair that continues to make you money well after your NFL career. You can send your bills and all this stuff to his address in North Myrtle Beach because he'll take care of you if you just cut your hair.
That's it.
Does that sound about right?
Well, what I said was that I didn't like his hair, and I stand by that.
Well,
I stand by that decision.
Well, I'll tell you what, that hair of his was covered under a Lloyd's of London insurance policy. That's something a lot of wrestlers were covered under, which means he had a $1 million insurance policy on his hair.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Hey, man.
I'm still trying to figure out what could happen to your hair that you would need insurance on it, and what is the payout? Like, how do you recover your hair?
Well, so somebody that had dreads that played in the NFL got a whole dread snatched out.
That was Ricky Williams.
That's what it was?
Yeah.
I'm just so just you pay money into an insurance company and they just cut a check because somebody snatched your hair out?
That's what it sounds like to me.
I guess that's a topic for another day. We'll have to do some research on that.
That's what it sounds like.
That's actually a good question, but
that is a good question. We have to call Procter and Gamble and see how all that went out. Okay, so I guess it is my turn for my top three players. Me being a former defensive tackle / defensive end in high school, I have a soft spot in my heart for defensive linemen and linebackers. So, this is tough. I'm going to say Lawrence Taylor because he's another guy he had to be accounted for on the field. Didn't matter. You couldn't stop him. Let's see. And then you had Reggie White with that club move and just being big, strong, powerful, fast, and agile. And number three, a guy that nobody mentioned, Kevin Green.
I just mentioned Kevin Green. What do you mean?
Oh, on his list, though. He's talking about no one put it on the list.
I know. I just felt like this.
Shut up. Yeah. No one put it on the list as I'm seeing, but I'm like, hey man, you can't forget about the Hall of Famer Kevin Green. I mean, he had that hair. He was a big dude. He was all over the place, and he played for a bunch of teams. But Kevin Green was one of the best to ever do it. He was another one that wore the Carolina Panthers uniform. Oh yeah, towards the end of his career. Yep. So that's my list: Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, and Kevin Green as the top three defensive hellraisers of all time. All right,
great job. Great discussion there, everybody.
Great. Shout out to Rodney, Brian, Javi, Terrible Pete, Uncle Max, Martin Tracy, Trey Dizzle, Damian, Scott, Corey, Scotty, and Jonathan for participating in this week's edition of Choices of the Voices. Did you like that recovery? I thought you did. All right, Scotty D, what's the question for next week's Choices of the Voices?
It's going to be hard to top this week's discussion, but being that we're getting into the baseball postseason, I thought I'd try to switch the topic up here and ask you, what is the most exciting World Series moment that you ever witnessed? Now, I know most of you guys are big-time football fans, but surely along the way you must have watched some World Series baseball. And if you look back through the years, there were some moments that are just like iconic, some electric moments. So which one is your favorite anyway, your most exciting World Series moment that you ever witnessed?
It's the best time of year to watch baseball, my personal opinion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I like that question. You know what, Scotty D, you're all right with me. I like the way
Well,
you
thank
plug
you.
that in there. You know, I'm lucky to have you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you feel that way.
Well, very.
As sad as I am today, I could use that pick-me-up night. Thank you.
No doubt, man.
You know we got you, man. Come on, man. We just ain't gonna let you be like, oh, your team lost. Ha! We just not gonna do this.
No, we know. Wait a minute. We are gonna do that, but
I tried. I tried. You know what I mean? I tried.
We're absolutely going to do that, but yeah,
I tried. You know what I mean?
All right. Let's do a big finish here, boys. What do you say?
All right.
All right. With that being said, they're giving me the go home cue. I'm giving myself the go home cue because it is late. But that don't matter because guess what? It is time for a round of pepper where we select 3 topics in the world of sports that may have been overlooked or not even talked about enough. And we just talk about it for a little bit. The first pepper point goes out to Pete Alonso for breaking the home run rookie record of 53 that was previously held by Aaron Judge. If only you heard the outtakes. It was held by Aaron Judge. The previous record was 52 home runs. Man, I'm telling you, man, this new generation of sluggers, just like we talked about this new generation of quarterbacks, I think baseball is going to be in good hands for a very, very long time. Over to you, Scottie D.
You know, over the course of the past year, I feel like, at least on a personal level, there's been a little bit of a resurgence in boxing interest. This past Saturday night, I saw one of the best fights that I've ever seen. It was Errol Spence and Sean Porter in the welterweight unification title fight. Eddie, cool, you watched this too. I know we were talking, kind of texting when this was going on. I think you saw it a different way than I did. I thought Spence deserved the decision, and he actually got a split decision. But, man, this fight was fantastic because this was the kind of fight that when one guy would become the aggressor, the other guy would just fight his way out of it. So, man, kudos to boxing for putting for making a little bit of a comeback. And I know Spence is going to go on and fight Danny Garcia next. And I'm going to have to start watching boxing a little bit more again just because these guys are starting to be interesting once again. So.
Oh, before we go any further, our guy Keith Thurman, he had to have surgery on his hand. He may be out, he's out for the rest of the year, and he may be missing parts of 2020 as well too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't need that hand against Pacquiao because he barely threw anything when he fought him. So.
Facts.
Yeah. Be live. Over to you, buddy.
All right. So speaking of fights, I'm gonna take it back to the field in football. Because there was a little scuffle, a little situational going on between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns and Odell Beckham Jr. and Marlon Humphrey. Because in the third quarter, Odell Beckham threw a punch at Marlon Humphrey, and no flags or anything was called with and everything. And so Marlon Humphrey decided, if he's going to throw blows at me, I'm going to jump on him and choke him out. And so this got a little petty, got a little there might be some fines come along and everything. Browns coach Freddie Kitchens was like, what in the hell is going on here? So he gonna be on the phone talking to somebody because I saw a little piece of it. I'm like, this dude is literally on top of him, giving him the two-handed choke. I'm like we got UFC meeting boxing in football because
he was giving him the business, as they say.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? But yeah, like I wanted to talk about that because something gonna happen.
Yeah,
something gonna happen. I just thought it was funny because I'm looking at it. I'm like, I think he's choking that dude. And then I see the story. I'm like, oh yeah, that actually happened. Yeah, talk about it. Put some pepper on it. Eddie
I'd like
cool.
to choke him too.
Get off of him.
Stop it. Eddie Cool, have the ball. Have at it.
All right, and this number 2, the second pepper point came to me as I was watching a program called Wow, Women of Wrestling. It is, I'm not going to lie to you, women's wrestling at its finest. It is great television program. Brammy, and you can catch it Saturday night on Access TV. Access TV, Mark Q, cut the check. It's great. You have characters such as Jungle Girl, the disciplinarian, and Tessa Blanchard, also known as the daughter of former tag team champion Tully Blanchard. And the show is good from top to bottom. It is great. They have segments and vignettes where they're talking about the characters and where they come. Well, to give you better detail about the characters, because sometimes wrestling has a habit of just putting something on TV and then you figured it out. Well, okay, if you want me to get emotionally invested into it, what should I, be invested in? And great storytelling, great action. So if you get a chance, check out Wow Women of Wrestling on Access TV, which is slowly becoming the home of pro wrestling for everything that ain't WWE, because TNA, also known as Impact, will be airing on there. They also air New Japan on their Saturday nights as well, too. And, of course, Wow, the Women of Wrestling. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right. Well, this past week, the NBA started getting their guys together. They were doing the photos and the press conferences and all that. And Russell Westbrook called his pairing with James Harden scary for the rest of the league. And to that I say, come on, man. Y'all couldn't get it done with KD. Now you're older. That window is shut. Here come the Lakers, baby. Whoa! Over to you, B Live.
All right. Now, check this out. I'm about sick of everybody when it comes to talking about my beloved Clemson Tigers.
Uh-oh.
They don't play anybody, and blah, blah, blah. They don't have any more ranked teams that they're facing the rest of the season. Lies. Because I knew somebody would emerge from the ACC. And I want to give a quick shout out to the number 22 ranked Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Thank God.
Oh, wow.
How did I know this was coming?
Wait.
How did I know this? I said to myself, he finna give her. I said, I'm gonna let him say it. Oh, he did it.
Wow.
Too. He did it. He just did that.
God, that Clemson at least has another ranked opponent. Yeah, we took a little hit, and we're now ranked number 2. Some people.
When do they play Wake?
Wake Forest versus Clemson in Clemson, November 16th.
Oh, they'll never be ranked by the time they play them.
Well, no. Let's look at it. Let's look and see who Wake Forest plays. Let's see. Wake Forest has got Louisville, then they got Florida State, then they got NC State, and then they got Virginia Tech.
They'll never be ranked by the time they play Clemson.
I think they can run the table.
Okay.
Give me a little hope.
I'm giving it to you.
That sounded like it. Anyway, shout out to the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, and also shout out to Virginia. 2 teams in the ACC that are still ranked. Virginia did take an L, but they're still ranked 23rd. But yeah, I got the ACC. We need to give the ACC some love.
Okay.
Just saying, since you want to all this who is we stuff. But Eddie Cool
is we.
Eddie Cool, do your thing, man. Here's the ball.
All right. Third and final pepper point goes out to the National Hockey League. You want to know why? Preseason is going on right now. And guess what? On October the 2nd, the puck drops on the regular season. There are 2 questions that I have entering into the season. The first question is, can the St. Louis Blues repeat? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But the second question is the most important question. Can and will the Tampa Bay Lightning bounce back from last season's historically but early exited season from the playoffs last year?
Interesting.
Yep. Only time will tell. Puck drops October the 2nd. Scottie D, here's the ball.
All right. Finally, you knew I was going to get to this sooner or later, and I've been holding off on this one.
This is going to be good.
The city of Pittsburgh finally got their wish, and Clint Hurdle is no longer the manager of our Buccos. Can you believe it? Now, here's the crazy part about this. Earlier in the week, Clint Hurdle did an interview where he said he was, excuse me, he did an interview where he said he was pretty much assured to be coming back next week, the proverbial vote of confidence, and he was making plans with Neil Huntington, the general manager, on what they were going to do going forward. And then on Sunday, he got let go before he even got to manage the final game of the season, which I'm not really sure how that went down. Neil Huntington said he feels bad that Clint felt misled about the future. I personally think the owner of the Pirates felt the backlash from the fans following that article or following that interview and decided that he was putting it on Neil Huntington to make the move and to cut him. However, he didn't cut Neil Huntington, the guy who is the one that was dealing the hands that Clint Hurdle was played. So while, yeah, it's good to see the Pirates are going to move on from Clint Hurdle, they still have a lot to do if they're ever going to be in contention again. So hopefully we have a little bit something cooking in Pirate Land, but I still I'm mixed emotions because I really wanted Hurdle to go, so I'm glad for that, but I wanted Huntington to go with him. So we'll see. Anyway, R.I.P. Clint Hurdle. You know, he gave the Pirates some good years. They did break their 20-year losing streak with him there. So there's that. And he had 3 good years where they went to the wild card and they won one of them, but it was time to move on. So I'm glad to be moving on from Clint Hurdle.
And he got involved in one fight.
And he did get knocked down this year against the Reds. Yeah.
All right. I want to applaud Scottie D, because once again his professionalism comes out in the clutch, because he actually gave some respect, and that was well versed talking about Clint Hurdle and what he has brought to the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise. So in the midst of all of his emotional trauma, and yes, for all of our listeners out there, he has been going through a lot. We've been hearing, you should hear some of this behind the scenes stuff.
I played hurt this week, boys. I played hurt.
Yeah.
But I want to finish this off on a different note. I'm going to bring it back to the pigskin, because guess who decided that he wanted to come back to the game after noticing that his shine was completely gone.
I know you're talking about.
Melvin Gordon decided to come back to the locker room, and he is back on the active list with the Los Angeles Chargers. And far be it for him, he is sitting on the sideline again, watching as Austin Eckler continues to do what he does, because this is almost to the point where people forgot about Melvin Gordon, and they should have, because Eckler total 122 yards from scrimmage, scored 2 more touchdowns against the woeful Miami Dolphins. Anybody can score against them, but Austin Eckler has been doing his thing in Melvin Gordon's absence, almost to the point where Melvin Gordon knew that he had to return, A, to get a piece of a paycheck this year, and B, to get credit to where when he is able to go into free agency, because if he didn't play, he will still be under contract for another year under his rookie contract. So that's one of those business decisions that he had to make. But I honestly say it's too little, too late. He's not going to get the money that he ever even thought that he possibly could get, because guess what? It's a plug-and-play system. And even though he says that, it's because the Chargers went 1-2, no, it wasn't, bro. We forgot about you.
Yeah.
But you know what? Whatever's whatever. We'll see. Maybe he gets his money another way, but you better show up to practice and freaking work your ass off, because like literally we almost forgot about you, bro. And
he overplayed his hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what he did. I mean, as far as he goes, like, okay, well, I'm going to hold out, and I'm going to hold out. Zeke going to hold out, and I'm going to get Zeke money. That's the thing. You ain't Zeke, and Zeke ain't you. So therefore, bring your ass to practice.
Right.
Yeah, bring your butt to practice. And that is another episode in the books, episode 29 of the Sports Bros podcast. And in closing, we always like to keep you informed about what we got going on and what we're doing. This year, Fantasy Football League. For me, I am blowing chunks in this league this year. I am currently setting it 0-3 at the time of recording. I'm playing the Almighty B Live this week. He ain't been talking much trash, but guess what I just done? I opened up the gates and I'm in trouble.
Yeah. See. Let me just do a quick little research on it. Right now the current score between the Almighty B Live and Los Ingobernables,
The Ungovernables.
I'm still angry. I let him pronounce that. It's 244.5 points to 200.5.
Oh God.
Yeah, but projected, the Almighty Be Live projected to win by 13 points. But anything can happen. But again, you're talking to that 3 times.
Here we go.
3 times. And I keep it coming, baby. But you know what? Anything can happen on Monday. Got one game to go. Got what that boy name? Got Boyd and Tyler Boyd and Mixon.
Joe Mixon,
Joe Mixon. So I mean, maybe Cincinnati goes on this onslaught of offensive power. Yeah, I couldn't even say that straight. Yeah. Good luck. You're going down 0-4. It happens, and I'm gonna get improve the 3-1 and continue to lead and do what I do. And God, please tell me. I'm gonna say this real quick. Please tell me Trey Duke is losing this week, because
he's losing.
He lost.
Whoa.
No, it's not over. It's not over yet. He still got John Ross for Cincinnati. So, but he is projected to lose against the big bruiser. I believe that's Bruce Wilkinson. Yeah,
Bruce Wilkinson. Bruce just came in, and Bruce was new to the league. He just came in and just took his foot and said, "You know what? I'm taking his foot. I'm putting up everybody's ass."
That's all right. So that's actually Trey Duke is ranked first right now, and Bruce is ranked number 3. Your boy, the Almighty, is ranked number 2. And I'm not gonna tell everybody about Eddie Cool, the HOC.
I'm at the bottom. HOC is at the bottom, okay? 0-3, all right? I'm looking like them damn Steelers right now, okay?
And Scottie D, unfortunately, he lost his matchup against Sean McKenna. That's already a wrap. Let me see. Could we call it a comeback? Because JR, Mr. Smooth himself, is going against Corey, and Corey still got Juju Smith-Schuster, and he's favored to come back from behind and beat JR. Well, we shall see. And then who else have we got? Renzo has already defeated David, and that's a blowout. All right, cool. That is the Sports Bros podcast, Fantasy Football League, and I think, unfortunately, let me pull up our team fantasy in the Charleston versus Myrtle Beach League. I think we were trailing quite a bit. Sorry we didn't put Wayne Gallman in. My bad. You know what I'm saying? That's what you get for leaving a Clemson guy out. But there's always a chance. I do believe. I'm trying to pull it up. It ain't happening. We're just gonna move on because cool. I'll post it on our Facebook Live page. Eddie Cool, Amtrak. Yeah.
All right. With that being said, Be Live, where can they find you?
All right. The Almighty One, your boy, Be Live. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is and Twitter is gonna be This Be Your Boy, Be Live, no I at the beginning. So THSBEYABOYBLIVE. You can find us, the Sports Bros Podcast, on Instagram and Twitter. On Twitter, it's at Sports Bros PCast. On Instagram, it's Sports Bros Podcast. You can find us on our Facebook Live page at Sports Bros Podcast. That is our main source of information. We're trying to hit them up with the memes, the information, the funny stuff, what the fans like. We are sports by the fan for the fan. You can also catch me every single Wednesday. I know I missed a couple. Don't judge me. I've been working, but hopefully you could feel my pain in the latest episode of What Happened Wednesdays. Gotta keep the pause in there. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it coming to you every single Wednesday, man. I love doing what I do, man. I believe I'm up to episode 30 coming up.
Wow.
And then also SportsBros. You can find us on the West Coast. I know Eddie Cool, you're actually leaving out Monday, right?
Yes, sir. Shortly.
He's doing it big on the West Coast, and I'll be joining him. So see my man walk across the stage as a graduate of Ashford University. Man, love it. Can't wait. I'm going to try to throw in a couple of What Happened Wednesdays from the West Coast. I think that's how my itinerary is looking right now. So, man, hey, check us out, man. Appreciate all the support from all of our listeners, all our peeps out there, our SportsBros family, man. We love you.
Scottie D, where can they reach you?
Come check me out at Wild Wing Cafe on Wednesday nights at 6:46 p.m. for some live trivia, and catch me on Facebook, Scott Donnelly.
Yep, that's right. Scott Donnelly for the best karaoke. Not karaoke, I'm sorry. Oh, I have memories. Oh, I'm sorry.
We did some karaoke in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We did some
so
karaoke.
hard.
Stop singing, boys. Make one shaking. We ain't gotta give them. We're not giving them nothing. Not Nathan.
Not
nothing.
Nathaniel. Not
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel. But 646 is that a marketing ploy by the money man?
No, it's just 6:45 is too early.
What the hell?
I love it.
That's ridiculous.
I love it, man. But yeah,
he's like 6:45. Nah, we're gonna do one better. 6:46.
Give you an extra minute.
Yeah.
Yep, and Scott has some of the best trivia on the beach. Scott really works hard, and he does what he does, when he does, how he does it.
I love
in the area. Please check him out.
I love the fact that he gives us an extra minute, and we were still late. The one time.
That's right.
Hey man, we were running on different standard time.
I like the way you put that.
Yeah,
Oh man,
DST, different standard time. And you can catch me, the HOC, somewhere chilling, because I'm gonna be graduating and I ain't in school no more. But in the words of Be Live, I digress because I got to work, because I got, in the words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, I got them gimmicks in the mail to come every month to call bills, and they need to get paid. So therefore, I need to work. So you can check me out here, SportsBros Podcast, every week, unless something happens. You can also check me out on the SportsBros PCast Twitter account, and also the Instagram account, the SportsBros Instagram account. Whole lot of good traffic going on there. Continue to love, follow, and support. Also, you can catch me on Instagram, Cool Season, all one word, KOOLSEASON. On Snapchat, Super Cool 5000, that is SUPERKOOL 5000, all one word. You can catch me on Facebook. You can find me in St. Louis rolling. I'm sorry.
I knew you had to steal it from me. I forgot it.
I had to. I had to. By law in the state of Ohio, I had to. So you can just catch me anywhere, everywhere. If it's a SportsBros podcast, I'm there. Like bad breath in the morning, baby. And with that being said, it's another edition of the SportsBros podcast in the books. Over with. Done. Y'all go to bed. Have a good night. Take care of yourself. And in closing, you thought I forgot, didn't you? And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it. This is the SportsBros Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Bye. Scott, you got anything you want to say? He hung up.
And I'm out.
And sing.